Hello, happiest of days, CGV folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today. One of the best you've ever had in your entire life for you folks, right? So today I'm knocking out another short story by Brian Lumley in this collection, Haggopian and Other Stories. I'll link it to you in the comments below. It collects all of his Cthulhu Mythos short stories that he wrote in his prolific and promising career. So this short story, it's about 50 pages long. I read a couple of days ago, about half an hour. It's called The Black Recalled for you folks. And basically, Brian Lumley was a big fan of Lovecraft and that sort of thing too, in the Cthulhu Mythos that he created in a pulpit and shared with other folks. And he also interpreted other people too. And then he loved that stuff too. And then after that happened, he then went ahead and knocked out all the great stuff that was happening in that era with his other friends, and there were co-writers and that sort of thing too, from Clark Ashton Smith, Savagua. And then he encouraged those people, and again, to write that stuff out with his huge number of letters that he was writing on. And then after he died in 1937, August Derleth founded in the Arkham House Publishing that put together a bunch of stuff, from republishing things of Lovecraft stuff as well as other folks from the pulpit, and then just new stuff that was getting published too. And so Brian Lumley's writing and a fan of this era, and so he starts submitting short stories to August Derleth. I think it's like maybe a bunch of them published and that sort of thing. This book is dense, right, as you can tell, right? So he's somebody who loved that. And actually, I hear you. I was a fan of fantasy and novels. I was born in 1976. And then when I encountered Lovecraft when I was 20, in my junior year in college, I just in a 3-volume collection of one of his horror, one of his fantasy, dreamland stuff, and then one of his Cthulhu Mythos stuff. I love him too, and he became my favorite author, and that became my favorite genre. And I read like at least 1,000 short stories in the Cthulhu Mythos, as well as tons of other things by Lovecraft. Right, I read everything, and too. And that was in the mid-90s when and so I read a few Brian Lumley short stories. But then that's it. And so I know he's got a lot of fans from his Necroscope series, his stuff too. And so this was somebody, The Black Recall is the name of this short story for you folks. And this actually is in another one, like The Color in the Black, that starts this collection, right, and that sort of thing too. It has Titus Crow. And Titus Crow is Brian Lumley's. It's his it's his white wizard. It's his Gandalf, or Dumbledore, if you will, and that sort of thing too, right? And so basically, this was commissioned by Bob Weisenberg in 1983. So this is actually a little longer in his career too. So it's going to be a little more advanced in the writing too. And so basically what's happening here in this short story, The Black Recall, is that this is set after Titus Crow has passed away. So what we're going to do, it's been a few years later, and in The Color of the Black, you'll find out that he fought against this very, very strong, very powerful, and really, really nasty. I mean, good in terms of good, not good in terms of, and powerful in terms of value sets. But he was like one of a kind, right? Sort of his era. And then he was somebody who was summoning an incarnation, a Cthulhu Mythos character. Too, and that was basically what was happening to get stuff started, right? And then he'll actually he's sending it out against various people, and then he'll ultimately be countered by Titus Crow. And so this is 2 acolytes of his that have survived and are now at his level or greater, and that sort of thing. And so they are meeting him after Titus Crow was killed about 10 years or so, or it might be 10 years after his person died, right? That they are celebrating his death, the person that Titus Crow killed, right? And they're at the site of his death, their master's death, right? Sort of a thing too. They'll talk about his death, of their master. They'll talk about the impact and how strong, Crow was, and then some bad stuff will happen. Obviously, I could tell you what happens, and after that, obviously, but I feel like that's probably a plot twist, so I don't want to spoil it. Right, links in the comments below from this Sellers collection for you folks. Not in the comments below, in the description below. Sorry, but you get the idea. But yeah, I like this. But and it's nice little, that sort of thing too. Also nice to see this stuff from the darker guys and the bad guys side of things. Right, all up and down the block. And then see something happen. It's great stuff too. I definitely enjoy the ending too. I think it's great stuff. But but this is probably a little too short for my taste. But I like it. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. For you folks, it's well written. It's well described. Great world building here, but not too much. All right, it's good stuff. Like that. But there you are. But that is the Black Recall for you folks from the 80s, by Brian Lumley. It's also from this collection. For you folks, now what did you think about it? Have you read it? And let me know what your thoughts are, and if you agree or disagree with my 8 out of 10, I'm happy to sort of engage you with it further in the comments, but whatever your thoughts are. And then I also want to remind you that I'm not I'm a paid critic, right? I'm sorry, trained critic was I'm not paid either. And as somebody studied English in college, right? None of that stuff either, right? I'm just a fan like you are. So your opinion really is as valid as mine. Just try to keep it smaller, but for folks that may have heard of Lumley but haven't, or maybe never even heard of him or this short story, right? I don't want to do gatekeeping if that's their thing, right? Just let them enjoy this just like you and I do. And there you are, for you folks. And again, I also try to do 3 of these reviews a week. I'm doing this right now for the Halloween that I dedicate in October to the Cthulhu Mythos and that sort of a thing too. So you can check that out too. And then 3 of these reviews of these older things too, fantasy, science fiction, horror too. All up and down the blocks for these older reviews in books, novels, short stories. Review, and even poems sometimes too, right? So you can check that out too. I think you'll enjoy it much. And then on Wednesday, I do older video game reviews for things. I've done the Guild Wars 20th anniversary, stuff like that too. On the Saturday, I do reviews. I reserve that for Serial Saturday, where I do reviews of older movie serials in the pulp barrel when Lovecraft was alive until he died in 1937, or some stuff in the 60s like Doctor Who. On the TV side of things too, right? And then also, I have done some things in Monday on tabletop reviews of tabletop war games or RPGs too. So you can check it out too. Hopefully, those things some of those things will sound like something you'll be interested in, and check it out. All up and down the box for you folks. And if so, please do all the YouTube stuff. While you're thinking about it, and hit all the subscribes, likes, all that stuff, dude. Let me, and then just, as you can tell from those 7 older 3 reviews that I do a week, finding these older things and talking about them for you folks, that's definitely the passion, right, of this channel. For you folks is finding these things for you folks. It's also where it's even its name comes from too. That's the worst thing about the new books. That's a quote by a French philosopher named Jean Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? Not that the new stuff is bad by default or anything like that, right? It's not. But, in the passion for these new diversions like video games, movies, books, and that sort of a thing too, we've sometimes have forgotten that these things out there, they're standing on the shoulders of giants like H.P. Lovecraft, like like Brian Lumley, right? And that sort of a thing too. So let's check out those giants, right? All right. And there we go. And so I just want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it too, and watching my videos, because we all have sorry, I dropped my book, I want to spin it around, but we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So if you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling. And I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.